you said that you were in the Navy.
Yes. So I've been serving for 6 years.
It's
Yeah,
hang
just
on,
over six
it's I don't
years.
think that it's doing it live. What the fuck? Yeah, there we go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, been serving for 6 years. Um, I've been under the branch in the Navy for aviation.
Aviation. Wow. And how long you been doing the aviation part? Since like you've been dabbling in the beginning, or what's up with that?
Ever since I commissioned.
Oh shit. And what made you want to get into the Navy?
So, couple stories. So I knew I wanted to fly for a long time, and one of the biggest influences. I know it's a cheesy answer. I'm willing to bet a lot of people think this way, but I would say Top Gun definitely influenced me.
Oh, Top Gun.
And
Wow.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, I was like, okay, I wanted to fly, but initially beforehand, I guess my passion for like being in the military I started in middle school because I have some family that are also in the military. I have a cousin in the Coast Guard. My uncle served in the Navy as well. I have another cousin in the Navy. I have another cousin in the Air Force. And I was like, I want to do that part as well. And at first, I wanted to join the Coast Guard because I like, boats and everything like that. And I thought that was a way to go. But once I saw Top Gun, it's like, all right, I want to do that. And what really got me to like truly aviation was, so I used to live in Maine, and
Yeah.
I went to an air show in Brunswick when the base was still open up there. It's no longer open, and I saw the Blue Angels for the first time.
Oh shit.
And unfortunately, it was a little cloudy that day, but I did see a lot of their low altitude flights and everything like that, which was really influential, awesome, and awestruck. In fact, they actually came to where I live this weekend, and I got to see them for a little bit.
Dadgum. Have you seen him up close?
Oh yes, I actually shook their hands and everything.
What about their rides?
So I have touched their planes, their F-18s. I never ridden on one though.
How much do they cost? Isn't it like 20 million or something?
Somewhere around there, maybe 40. I'm not sure exactly the price.
Is it the same? Is
All
it
I
the
know is
same
it's
ones,
multi-million.
or is it do they just like retire some of the planes and bring in new ones, or how does that work? Do you know?
uh, so what they fly is called the F-18 Charlie or Delta. They used to fly the Alpha and Bravo, but
Yeah.
they upgraded a little bit. But yes, you're right. They take old planes that they no longer use in combat and everything like that, and they actually transfer them to the Blue Angels. So right now, like in the real Navy, we fly the F-18 Super Hornet, Echo, and Foxtrot. But the Blue Angels fly a uh, older model, but for the purposes of showmanship and entertainment.
So what do you want to do with what do you what have you been doing so far? I mean, how close have you gotten to reaching what you've been wanting to do this whole time, or have you been dabbling in that
So,
in its entirety?
so I have been dabbling. So I graduated college out of 2015, and that's where I commissioned. Um, and immediately I went to flight school as soon as I graduated, or about 2 weeks after. And that was in Pensacola, Florida. Which, by the way, if you haven't been there, it is a great town to be in if you need a vacation. So I started flight school there, and I completed it, and I got my wings back in 2016. So every time I wear my uniform, I have a set of wings on my chest.
Nice.
So after that, I went to Jacksonville, Florida, because I got selected to fly on maritime patrol reconnaissance airplanes, and their purpose is either one, anti-submarine warfare, or it's a intelligence gathering plane.
Intelligence gathering plane, so like kind of like scouting, and right?
Oh yeah, surveillance, reconnaissance. So I first initially flew on the P3 Charlie Orion.
I'm not familiar with
Um,
that.
so it's an older bird that actually used to be a commercial aircraft bird. Back in like the 60s and 70s. I completely forgot what the name was called. But essentially, it's a 4-prop propeller powered bird. It's a fairly big bird, and it's very loud, very noisy, and everything like that. But and the interior was like all rusted. Well, not rusted, but definitely seen better days.
Oh yeah.
But it definitely was a piece of history, and I was glad to be a part of that.
What do you
As
mean
of right now, they are no longer flying the P3 Charlie.
PT Charlie? They just retire that model or what?
They are retiring it right now. It's still in the process, but there's no longer any active duty P3 Charlie squadrons.
And so what kind of plane is it?
So let's see. It's a Lockheed. It comes from the company Lockheed,
Yeah.
and it has 4 propellers, big propellers on it. And it used to be a commercial airliner.
I guess they tear out all the seats or what?
Yeah, all the seats are gone. It's replaced with like equipment and computers and everything like that. I had my own chair,
Oh
but
wow.
on my chair I had like a computer in front of me. I had a window, I had a desk, and everything like that. And my job was actually just navigation.
Oh shit. Wow. So it's basically like a mobile operations center, right?
Almost, yeah. So there are bigger planes that actually do that kind of mission where they become like the communications of the sky. We are able to do that job, but that's not our main job. Do that job.
Oh yeah. What exactly is
So-
the main job?
So let's see. But not only navigation, but I also had to handle the radios as well. So I had to talk to a lot of people on the ground and everything like that.
Oh, do you are you can you speak multiple languages or just the one?
Oh, I mean, English is my main language. It wasn't like talking multiple languages on the ground. It's just talking with like air traffic controllers and other military personnel and everything like that.
Is this
I
overseas
mean, I
or
learned
is
French,
this
but I'm not that good at it.
is this some kind of
Oh, yeah.
training?
So, so in Jacksonville, that was the training to fly on this bird. After I was completed that training, I went to. Actually, first I went to Hawaii for a couple months to do work with my squadron. And I actually flew and did some exercises, training exercises with other units within the military, like the Coast Guard or the Army or the Navy, other parts of the Navy, like other ships.
Other parts of the Navy, yeah, wow.
So after that, I went to my squadron in Washington, and that's where I tried to become essentially what we call qualified on the plane. So essentially that we are able to do the job that we're supposed to do, and our commanding officer gives us permission to do it.
How long does it usually take you to get that far from when you sign up for it?
So from commissioning to actually getting to my first squadron took about 2 years.
Damn. So I guess a lot of changes went
And,
through on
yeah.
that. Our phone's over there blowing up. It's like I tell all these people I'm going to
Oh.
be doing a stream now, and then it's blowing up. But no, you were saying that it took you 2 years from commission to where you are to what you're doing then.
Yes. So I was in Washington for about 6 months before we went on our first deployment. and we went to the Middle East.
Oh shit.
And it's a lot nicer than you think. Kinda.
You mean
and
it's
the
not as
strange thing
bad as you
is that
think, right?
yeah, at least where I was. I was in the country of Bahrain, which is in the Arabian Gulf, towards the, I would say, west of UAE,
Oh shit, yeah.
Emirates. Yeah, but it's like southeast of Iraq.
Oh.
So, and that's where I did my first deployment. And essentially, we flew all around the Arabian Gulf, just gathering intelligence where the Navy needed us.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, I mean, how much of a presence does the Navy, or I should say, did the Navy have out there? I mean,
So I assume you're referring to Afghanistan and everything like that. So that's a completely separate entity
Yeah, of
that's
course.
going on over there. For us, we're still in the Arabian Gulf right now.
yeah, they pull them out here, but they're still over there, so it's not like there's no presence, but
Yeah. So, and essentially, our job isn't have to do with Afghanistan. It's actually mostly Iran anyway.
mostly Iran. Yes, I mean that stuff. You know, I've been dealing with that stuff for so long that it's, for me, it all just kind of blurs together at times because you hear about it every single day for 20 years, and it's just like, yeah, what about it?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean.
And it's not, I'm
I
not
can't
being
get enough
cruel.
of it.
You know, I'm not being
No,
being
I
cruel.
totally
It's
understand.
conditioning. You know, you see, you know, I'm institutionalized to the wars in the Middle East. You know.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest question is like, and a lot of people ask me this too, just where was I during 9/11 and everything like that? And I would say that 9/11 influenced me to join the military and everything like that. It was just definitely just I wanted to do my part. But I do remember that day significantly. I just remember coming home from school, and the weird thing is that nothing happened at our school. They didn't like make an announcement or anything like that. I just went home, and my sister and I were watching TV,
Mm-hmm.
and I was flipping through the channels, and every other channel was just explosions. Another explosion, another explosion. I mean, what was I? I was in third grade at the time, so I was like, I want to watch cartoons. I don't want to watch explosions. And suddenly, my mom arrived home, and she said, "Turn on the news." And that's when I really found out what was happening.
Yeah, that sounds like the story of so many people. That it's just, when that happened, I mean, not to sound mad boomerish or anything, but that brought people together, and it really sucks ass that it has to be shit like that. You know.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I remember the other kids were saying, "Oh, hey, you know that there's an attack on America." I'm like, "There's not." I was like, "There's not an attack on America." Then everybody said, "Oh shit." Well, I'm like, "Well, it can't be that bad." And then you hear about planes hitting the building, and you know, your mind, you don't think about the massive, humongous planes. You know, you think,
No.
"Oh, a prop plane," or you think maybe the shitty planes they used to ride to. You know, different states when I was a kid. Now, these are massive, massive fucking jetliners. These things are enormous. And
Oh yeah, international planes.
yeah. And then, you know, all these kids go home. At least, you know, some of the kids in my grade or my school saw the planes hit, but or the second plane hit. When I got home, I turned on the TV. I'm sitting there watching one of the first tower, because the first plane hit at 8:40 something. Can't remember when the towers fell. I don't want to say when. I think it was like sometime after 11. And I saw it, and it was just so unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you said that your mom came home and she told you that to turn on the news. I mean, how was she handling it?
I mean, she was silent. She wasn't freaking out or anything like that. My mom doesn't. It's not that kind of person who freaks out. we were all just silent. Just I don't think my mind really processed it,
No.
like, until like years later. Because I was in third grade. I don't. How old was I? I was like 7 or 8.
Wow.
And it. So I mean, what else does a 7 and 8 think about? I mean, like cartoons, candy,
Pokemon.
toys, whatever. Yeah, Pokemon.
Pokemon Gold was around then, I
Yeah,
think.
it just. Oh yeah, no, I was a big fan of Pokemon Gold.
Kids like,
My
oh, I want
sister
to go
played
home.
Silver.
I'm gonna fucking watch Yu Yu Hakusho and Dragon Ball Z. No, you
Yes.
watching people dying horribly, man.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say my parents like shielded me or anything like that, because I eventually found out what the world was really like and stuff like that. And but they weren't blunt with me either, so which I'm glad about. But yeah, so going back to the original story, so I was in no, that was a segue. So I was in Bahrain for 6 months. I did
Bahrain.
a couple months in Djibouti, Africa as well. So that was a lot of fun.
Damn, Africa. What'd you do down there?
The same mission, except instead of being in the Arabian Sea, I was in the Red Sea.
Damn. Wow, the Red Sea. Yeah.
So mostly in the southern end, but
Yeah.
yeah. So I did 6 months of that. We came home after that, and during that time of deployment, our commanding officer was telling us, "Hey, we're switching to a new plane after this deployment. We'll no longer be flying on this one." I was like, "All right." So as soon as we got home, we rested for a couple weeks, and then we had to start training again because the P-3 Charlie is being retired.
Oh shit.
And
Yeah.
we are now flying on the P-8 Alpha Poseidon, which is a Boeing 737, like one of the most common
shit.
aircraft liners out there.
Yeah. Is that the double decker or is that the single? Is that the one with the two?
No, it's a single.
And it's not the one with the 2 rows, right? It's the 1 row.
I think it just has 2 rows.
Oh,
but,
two
yeah, all
aisles.
the chairs are.
I've never been on one of those. I've always been on one of the smaller ones. So they converted a 737, you said?
Yes. So we fly on that now.
Oh shit.
So instead of having my own desk and my own window and everything, all of us operators are in the back, sitting together, which is kind of more convenient, especially what I had to do next. So I was no longer a navigator communicator. I was the next step up above that,
Oh.
which is called a tactical coordinator.
Cool.
So essentially, my job on that was I was in charge of the crew in the back, and essentially they give me information based on what they see on their sensors, such as the radar, the camera, other instruments on the plane, and everything like that. And it's my decision to decide what to do in that situation, in terms of what the mission is composed of, such as anti-submarine warfare. How are we supposed to track this thing? Or if we're doing surveillance of some kind, where do we want the plane to go and best utilize the sensors?
So is this like technology you wish was a little better, or is it pretty good at this time?
It's improving at the moment.
It's not very reassuring.
So it's good enough of what we need to do. I mean, it sure has some bugs here and there and everything, but it's nothing major. But they are improving it every so often to make it even better. So it's not just like, hey, we're stuck with this technology and that's it. That was what it was like on the P3. We were stuck with like 80s and 90s technology.
Oh my
we
God.
couldn't do anything with that.
I hate that
Yeah,
shit. I fucking hate that. Using
Yeah,
using Windows 10. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? Not Windows 10 7. Fuck. If you're using Windows 7, Jesus.
No. It was earlier than that. It was like earlier than Windows 95.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I guess I don't want anybody hacking their shit,
So-
huh?
No, no, that yeah, no, that plane's not easily hackable. Um, so yeah, we have better technology now and everything. There's some ups and downs. In terms of like doing the operation, it makes things a lot easier. I just, I miss my window and my desk, but you can't ask for
Yeah,
everything.
but I tell you, a window can make all the difference. I mean, people might be able to correct me on this, but I would think that your productivity would increase if you had a window.
Um, Actually, no, unfortunately. And there are some moments where we actually have to shut the window so they don't see the inside of the plane.
Oh fuck. So how the fuck are they gonna see the inside of the plane? Won't they have to like fly up next to you?
Oh yeah, and that happened too.
Like they fly up next to you, and you're just like,
Hey, what's up? Yeah.
you're like, hey, and he's like, oh shit.
um. So we did. So we finished the training to the new plane, and I'm actually gonna use my hands. So we actually finished using the plane or training with that plane, and soon after, about a year and a half later, we went on deployment again for another 6 months. But this time I was in Japan.
Oh fuck. It's
Unfortunately, this was during the summer of COVID.
great.
So yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't see much of the culture. But when I was able to, Japan is a very, very nice place, and the people are very nice too. And they're actually very good at speaking English too. So if you don't understand Japanese that well, they actually can respond to you.
That's cool. That's cool. You know, I tried to make a
Not
couple of
everybody,
video
of course, but
games
yeah.
based on Japan. It didn't work out. It was before the boom. What would you call it? The indie boom that happened over the past 8 years. And it was cool. You're right. It is a pretty neat culture. One good video documentary is called "The Great Happiness Space." It's about host clubs. I mean, these guys kind of look like they walked out of Final Fantasy 15. And it
Wow,
shows,
really?
yeah, and it shows them talking to like these girls and stuff, and they have regulars. But then it shows them getting ready and shit, and it's a pretty, it's a if you yeah, I highly recommend it. I don't know where you can watch it. I know you can catch part of it on Dailymotion, but it's I don't know what do they call it? Abandonware. It's like an abandonware film. So basically, what that means is that you
Okay.
can't find it anywhere. But how long were you doing
That's
your stay in Japan?
So my deployment also was 6 months over there. Um, so I was in mainland Japan for about 2 months, but then the rest of the time I was in Okinawa.
Okinawa, what's that like there? What was that like for you?
So, I would say Okinawa is the Hawaii of Japan. It's very warm. There are palm trees, and it is a summer paradise over there. The water is very warm,
Wow.
and I had a blast being there.
What all did you do out there when you weren't doing your job?
Oh, if we weren't doing our job?
Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
you make it.
so unfortunately because of COVID, we weren't allowed to leave base
Oh, fuck.
because because they didn't want us to, contract it and everything like that. So ways to entertain was alcohol for one.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Luckily, we had like some kind of barbecue like outside the hotel that we were staying in. So every other night we would all hang out and just out there and cook some barbecue or stuff like that and have a few drinks here and there. And of course I had my laptop, so I had some games I could play in it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I got it. I just recently bought one. I'm so excited. Did you play games with
I'm actually using my laptop right now. So.
with your buddies when you were out there?
Oh yeah, so when we first got to Japan, we actually had the ROM for 2 weeks, restriction of movement. We had to stay in a hotel room and not leave for 2 weeks. We could not leave the room.
Oh yeah, they want you to quarantine. It was
Yeah.
the way that they said it's the best way to quarantine at the time.
So we did one of two things. So this was when like Warzone was like really popular and like it was on the rise and everything like that.
Yeah.
So there was actually a group of us that would play together, either multiplayer or play actually in Warzone. And or we would get on Discord and we would play Jackbox.
Let's pretend I don't know what Jackbox is.
So Jackbox is like it's a game show game that you can play with your friends, and you can use a computer or your phone, and essentially you play all these like mini games that are just a lot of fun to play. And it's not just like one game, but it's like a series of games that you can play with other people. And some of it could be like really raunchy and funny and everything like that, or some are just. Oh yeah, it gets real bad. It's just a ball of laughs and everything like that. We had a blast with it. And it gets worse when like we managed to sneak alcohol into our rooms and everything like that, and we actually drank while playing at the same time. So
oh no,
it got some pretty fun nights there.
You're not gonna get in trouble for if your COs find out you were drinking, were you?
Oh no. He was drinking too.
Oh shit! There you go. Then, yeah, it's okay. It's like, what are you gonna do about the CO? He goes, and your CO's like, I don't give a shit about nothing. I'll kick his ass, even though he is the CO.
Drinking is fine as long as you don't do anything stupid.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I definitely had Warzone to entertain me.
Yeah.
Also watched a lot of shows just to entertain myself. Do some exercise in my room just to do something. So.
Yeah, you can put your dirty clothes and, lift that. Well, they wouldn't let you use a gym in the hotel or what?
No, the only thing that we could do is two things. One, we could do laundry, or we can go outside to another barbecue area and like take a little bit of fresh air and come back inside. We couldn't stay out there for very long, but at least we got something.
Doesn't that like fuck with your stomach if you spend too much time sitting around and not going outside? I mean, I'm no gastrologist, but it seems like it would like really fuck up with your regularity,
It didn't mess me up, and my stomach's not sensitive like that. So.
Yeah. Mine's usually not, but if I just lay around all day, I usually feel like trash.
Oh yeah, no, that does happen to me sometimes. If I like had a total lazy day, not doing anything. So that's why I was like exercising in my room just to like entertain myself, keep my mind busy and everything like that.
And you got dressed despite the fact you weren't going anywhere, right?
Say that again?
Did you get dressed despite the fact you weren't going anywhere?
Oh yeah, I mean I just wore like PJs, sweatpants, shirt. That's about it.
Yeah, see, I can't do that. Like today, I'm not going anywhere, but I'm wearing a t-shirt. I'm wearing pants, socks, underpants. I'm wearing the whole 9.5 yards. But I guess if I'm not like here to impress anybody, I mean I put on like running shorts and a shirt. Yeah. Running shorts is fair.
I would dress up nicer.
Running shorts is fair, yeah. But what's that like being cooped up in a hotel for that long?
It was definitely boring. I definitely had to like prep myself for it because I knew it was coming. So I had to like find shows that would entertain me for 2 weeks. I probably watched, I want to say about 10 to 15 shows, like started from beginning to finish, during those 2 weeks.
Shit, just watch Simpsons and South Park and you'll be fucking set.
I've seen South Park so many times, so I had to find something else. That's actually when I started getting into anime again. So
oh yeah.
I just watched some classic ones. Like I think Oh yeah, I watched Hunter x Hunter for the first time. I know you can give me shit about that. It took me that long to watch it for the first time.
Don't
Love the
you're
show though.
fine.
Love it.
You're absolutely fine. I'm sure there's people out there that you know, and they won't tell you, but you know them, and they haven't even seen Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
They haven't
awesome
even
show. I've been
seen
hearing-
the intro to My Hero Academia. So
Oh my. I
there's
love that show
there's
too,
people like
actually.
that out there.
Then I watched like some slice of life shows.
Oh yeah. I like those. Those are fun to intersperse between more serious or more high octane anime.
And unfortunately, I didn't have the Quest at the time over there, so I couldn't. So I didn't start VRChat until after I got back from deployment. That's when I got my headset. But yeah, I would say having VRChat like during COVID and everything is probably definitely saved a lot of people from like going insane because they're like not talking to people.
Man, it sounds like there's an emergency. Hang on. I think it's my phone just keeps vibrating. I don't know what these people freaking want. So how much longer do you have in service? You gonna let's keep going as long as they'll let you?
So, according to my obligation, because I got a scholarship from the Navy to go to college, I have to serve 6 years after I get my wings. So I have about a year left before my obligation is over. However, I plan to stay longer.
You gonna re-enlist, or how does that work?
So, recommission for me because I'm an officer, not enlisted.
Recommission. What exactly is that term? How's that term compared to enlist? Re-enlist.
So it's essentially the same thing. It's just there's a minor difference of like how the oath. There's the how like you have the oath of office and like oath of enlistment and everything, and the commissioning oath and everything like that. So essentially, the enlisted are following the president while we follow the Constitution.
All right, hang on. Let's start from the beginning again.
Okay.
So, what is the difference? Because that kind of threw me off there for a second. You said one follows the president and the other follows the Constitution.
So, if you have a time to look this up on whenever, look up the re-enlistment oath in the military versus the officer oath. So there are two different oaths. One for the enlistment, they'll say they'll follow the president of the United States. While us, we are supporting and defending the Constitution of the United States.
So why is there a difference like that?
It shows of like rank structure of what people should follow and how they follow orders in the military in the first place.
So why do you think they put that in place? Why have the officers have something different?
The differences between enlisted officers is how do I put this?
No, you're not on the spot. I mean, I'm not like kind of chastising. I mean, I'm legitimately asking why is it difference? Don't they have the same goal? Isn't the goal that they share
True.
somewhat similar?
But so officers are kind of like the supervisors of the enlisted.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So it's our job to make sure that they do their job. Of course, we have our own supervisors above us and everything, but the enlisted are the people who get the job done. They actually like go out there and do things, while the officers are supervising to make sure that that job gets done.
And make sure they can give their best, right? Make sure they're in a position
exactly.
where you don't set them up for failure, which is a really common thing. That's a very common in the workforce, is people being set up for failure.
Exactly. But the real difference is that the enlisted will follow orders, but the person who's making that order is responsible to whatever happens in that order.
Right.
So I take that responsibility of what they do.
Like if you march a bunch of assholes off to their death, I mean that's gonna be on you. Is that about how it
Yeah,
goes?
exactly. And some people, take too much advantage of that power and everything. So, but I try
Yeah.
not to be that kind of person.
So you are pretty comfortable with where you are right now? I mean, do you
Oh yeah.
I mean, have you had any like exciting or like or like scary encounters that have happened, or is it
Let's
it's
say.
pretty smooth sailing?
I mean, I had Iran, threatened to shoot down my plane every single day I flew out there. But,
Yeah, I could have told you that.
you're talking about like hearing something and seeing something, you're ingrained and like brainwashed into hearing that. I just got used to it at that point. And then like I had North Korea tell me to go fuck yourself like every other day. So
Like you got like correspondence from them or what?
with North Korea.
Yeah, yeah. Were they were you legitimately receiving transmissions from them?
Oh yeah.
I mean, how does that work out? Do you just like record it? Do you listen to it and take notes, or at this point you just blow it off?
So we were doing a certain mission out there that involved North Korea and everything like that, and of course, if we're trying to like talk to North Korea and everything, of course they're not going to respond well.
No,
So,
probably not. They're probably still mad at us about that movie.
That's why they go fuck myself or fuck you and like go die and stuff like that. So at that point, once again, I got used to it.
Play
Shit
that.
happens.
What's that? What was that song? I'm so dumb. I can't even remember it right now. What was the name of it? Katy Perry. Yeah, play that Katy Perry song. Baby, you're a firework. or just like airdrop copies of the interview just outside the border.
Oh, the interview, yes.
Yeah, yeah. They were so
We
pissed
actually made
about
jokes about
that,
that
or at
joke.
least Kim Jong Un was.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It was really funny about that because I used to watch Rooster Teeth and they had their own show for a while, and they were. I think it was during the time like when the interview was about to come out to theaters, but North Korea was making a threat saying like if you release this movie, we'll attack people. And
I remember that.
movie theaters like backed off. Yeah, movie theaters backed off from releasing it. So these guys on Rooster Teeth were like, "Hey, why not just release it on stream, and everyone will have access to it for free?" Supposedly, like, if it was through Netflix, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, well,
So
I think it was real
everyone had access to it.
important that year to watch that. I know it sounds like stupid, and it's going to sound stupid later, but I think controversial movies like that are super important. I'm not talking about movies where like where you try to normalize like shit that people don't really like care for anymore. But when it comes to shit like that, that's real important. I even think Reefer Madness is an important movie because it's like a snapshot of the time.
That creation of writing and able to write anything that you want. I mean, most anything you want. Of course, if it doesn't, it's dark and bad and stuff. But the idea is just where the message was just saying like, "Hey, North Korea, you're fucked up, and we're gonna show it this way anyway. Hey, you're not gonna stop us."
Well, it was fun to see a movie, I should say. Show. I'm sounding like an old man. It's fun to see a show that where the main bad guys weren't Russians. It's been Russians since the 80s. Or like people who sounded, vaguely, Russian. They sounded even remotely Russian. But
Oh yeah.
so how much shit did you get from other countries when you're flying around like that?
I mean, there was China, North Korea. Those were the main two. We didn't hear much from anyone else.
How big of a pain in the ass do you think China's a bigger problem than people are letting on?
Oh, China, yes, definitely. They're definitely ruining the environment out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of what they're saying about the environment is true, and I think that there's that exemption.
I mean,
right there. It's the elephant in the room, but we're not supposed to talk about it. So, was that scary when you're getting those threats when you're up in the air like that, or what? I mean, what exactly
first,
goes through your mind?
At first, yes, but then, like, you know, when you have people who've done it before, you're like, oh, hey, don't worry about it. Um, as long as we weren't doing anything illegal, they have no reason to, you know, shoot us down or hurt us in any way. And of course, we weren't doing anything illegal, so, you know, following the law.
I mean, what do you mean? What do you mean by exactly by law? I mean, like international law, like you know,
Yeah, as long as we're
wartime
following
law,
international
or
law, not breaking borders, and not doing anything bad, we have nothing to worry about.
I mean, how close exactly could somebody get to China before they start calling you on the radio?
Close enough.
So we're talking about at least 100 kilometers or something. That'd be my guess.
Unfortunately, I cannot say.
Oh yeah. I bet. Yeah. You know what? I'm just gonna say Alaska. I'll just say Alaska. You know, some dude at the eastern end of Alaska is probably getting hate calls from, you know, Xi Jinping's office. Hey asshole, you're an asshole. It's like, what? I just chopped down trees in the southern Iowa nursery. I don't know what your problem is. Damn. This guy speaks better English than I do. Click. But yeah, so I mean, you going, so you say you had family and friends that were also in the military?
Yeah. So, like I said, so I had an uncle, actually two uncles, that served in the Navy.
Oh shit.
Cousin in the Air Force. Yeah. And cousin in the Air Force, and another cousin in the Navy. My grandfather was actually both my grandfathers were in the Army.
Oh shit. Well, when did they serve?
So I think, oh yeah, I forgot to mention this. So I think one of the biggest influencers that had me join the military was actually my grandfather.
Oh wow.
And he was actually my first salute because he was enlisted in the Army. And so the thing is that when he joined the Army, he was 17 at the time, and unfortunately, you can't go into combat unless you're 18. So this was like 1940. Let's say 46. No, 43. 1943.
43. Yeah.
So 1943, 1944, around there. So my grandfather was 17, and his platoon, you know, were getting ready for deployment, but he couldn't go. So his platoon actually ended up going to the Battle of the Bulge.
Oh shit.
Unfortunately, none of them came back.
Oh my god.
So if my grandfather went, I probably wouldn't be here.
So you said he almost went.
Yes.
Jesus Christ. It's just so... My toes get cold just thinking about the Battle of the Bulge. Ugh.
I mean, if you saw, what's that show, Band of Brothers?
Yeah. I hadn't seen that.
So, the 2 or 3 episodes that it was just all winter, yeah, that was it right there, so...
God, man.
No, I couldn't imagine doing that.
You know, I remember hearing the story, hearing an old phrase. It doesn't necessarily apply to everybody, but they said the Germans had a saying that was, if the snow starts speaking Finnish, it's already too late.
Just like the trees are talking in Vietnam.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's gotta, I mean, like, so was it scary at first, or were you pretty much conditioned by the time you got out there?
So I didn't know what to expect.
Right.
I knew I wasn't, like, you know, holding a gun and, like, you know, shooting down terrorists and everything like that.
Yeah, it's not like Perfect Dark or Call of Duty or some shit.
No, it's nothing like that. And I had people who've done it before, and you know, they turned out to be fine and everything. And it turns out they're some of my good, like, best friends that I've ever worked with and everything like that. And so when they seem comfortable, like, okay, I'm comfortable. So it didn't bother me as much. I would say one of the things that influences you to be scared or not is just like the people around you. How do they react?
Yeah, right. That makes sense. That makes sense. That you know, if your CEO is sweating bullets and starting to smell like diapers, then you know you're real fucked.
Yeah. But no, I don't think any of us were in any real danger. So,
So not a lot of real scary moments.
nah. So there were some funny moments. Saw a boat full of cows.
A boat
That was
full of
interesting.
cat. That's probably somebody's whole livelihood is that boat full of cows.
Yeah. I felt bad for that person. It must have smelled really bad.
Yeah, it smells like money. Smells like money.
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of good memories that I had going on deployment and everything, and stuff I will never forget for many years.
Oh yeah, I bet some camaraderie that is just gonna last a lifetime.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's some parts that sucked. Like it's hot out there. It's like 120 degrees, and even though it's the desert, it's actually humid over there, like 90% humidity.
Oh, humid. What the fuck? So it's not like Colorado
not dry.
desert. Wow, the Colorado desert
No,
is
it's
like
not
fucking
Colorado,
hot
it's
as
not-
shit.
Yeah, it's not Arizona or Nevada or anything like that. No, it is humid. It is sand and humid.
That's funny you say that, cause one of my greatest memories is I'm hanging out with my uncle and my cousin, in South Park, and it's hot as shit, cause it's really high up, right? So I go
Yeah.
over and stand in the shade. I'm like, fuck, if I'm gonna stand in the shade, I better go grab a hoodie. And to imagine that plus humidity, Jesus Christ, that is insane.
Yeah. I mean, it was bright outside as soon as I walked out, and I wore sunglasses. As soon as I walked out, bam, my sunglasses are fogged up. Luckily,
Really?
there's air conditioning everywhere.
Wow, they don't use
But-
swamp coolers like they do in New Mexico or anything.
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
We had AC.
Yeah, that's what's up. So does it get hot in those uniforms, or is it what do they even like? How does that even feel on you?
So I wore a flight suit, which is probably one of the most comfortable uniforms in the Navy. It's like wearing PJs.
Like it's a one piece, right?
Yeah, it's a one piece. They're actually making two pieces right now, but and in flight suit you can roll up the sleeve and everything so it can breathe. But the thing is that like it was so hot there that I didn't even hang out outside for more than I want to say 10 minutes in the day during the day.
Wow.
At night it gets cooler, so I didn't really experience the heat that much.
Yeah.
Because I was just like in one building, leaving, then going to another one. I was just like zooming back and forth, just avoiding that. Then at night it gets cool, and I would just wear a t-shirt and shorts and everything like that. So
Yeah, that night in the desert is pretty great as long as you got something to cover you up.
it didn't get cold at night though. It was actually still humid. That's the thing.
Oh man, Jesus, I hate the
But
humidity,
at least
man.
it was like 80. It was like 80. Actually, no, 90. It was like 90 at night, but for some reason 90 felt cool to me because I was so accustomed to 120 degrees.
Oh man. At the office I'm in, they keep it at about anywhere between 75 and 80. I don't talk about it much, but it gets really hot as balls there. And so you gotta wear that. I gotta wear
yeah, I
wool
mean, it's-
and polyester.
It's
so
hot
it's,
in my apartment right now.
yeah, I have it at about 78. At least it's supposed to be. Until I bought a new case, right? And I got 6 fans, 3 intake, 3 outtake, and I'll probably transfer it over once I get my laptop. But
Yeah.
what's social life like? Outside of work when you're there. I mean, how do you handle that in like the desert? What do you go and what do you do for fun?
So, social life. So let's see. There was a big, not convention center, but there was a big activity building, that we all hung out in, and it kept it very cool in there. There was ping pong, pool. There was like a little movie theater in there too. and we could watch TV. There was like a little library in there if you want to read, and then there was like this little separate like conference room. But what we did was we brought our laptops and we actually played games in that room.
Oh, I had a LAN party or some shit.
Oh yeah, and then
Uh-oh.
like they
Click
also
something
had,
I wasn't supposed to. Oh, hang on.
Oh.
Just keep talking. I got this under control.
Okay.
Everything's gonna be okay.
They also had video games, and then like they had guitars too. If you want to like practice the music.
Right.
I think ping pong was probably the most popular thing that we did there.
I can believe it. I can totally believe it.
And unfortunately, we couldn't drink that much on base. We only allowed like 3 drinks a day. You can't drink more.
Oh yeah, that's why you just go for the real heavy shit.
Well, 3 beers, I should say. If you're getting hard liquor, it's less.
Well,
So-
I mean, if you get heavy beer like Kentucky Bourbon Barrel, and that is not an endorsement unless you want it to be, unless you want it to be, and we talk about it. No, I do, and I don't really like Budweiser, and I'll drink some Yingling if I've already had three or 4 drinks, but beyond that, I don't really like drinking a whole lot. But if I do, I like it to be like something with some interesting, flavor to it. Something that's
Oh yeah, mixed drinks.
cool. And well, mixed drinks are cool, but I like Sierra Nevada Pale Ale and all day.
I love IPAs.
Yeah.
IPAs is all what I'm about.
Like the all day IPA. That's a really, really good summer beer. It's not good to drink in the cold of your house, but if you're outside, it's hot, it's muggy, it's sweaty. You get a real thin IPA, and you're gonna be having a good time. A good time.
Oh yeah.
Fat Tire is pretty good too, but I think that might be more of a winter beer because it's real thick. That Fat Tire was actually, I think it's bottled in Fort Collins, which is a pretty decent college town. I hadn't been there in a few years, but I don't think that's where CSU or anyways, it doesn't matter. It's a cool town, and there used to be a movie store there called Movies, and there was a guy that worked there that was also in my Taekwondo class. I was also after Taekwondo class I took when I moved. I took Russian Kempo. And did they teach you any martial arts CQC when you were in your training or anything?
So, since we're not actually combatant people, they don't teach us martial arts that much. However, in college, I actually did take martial arts because that was part of our curriculum. But I did some extra martial arts there too, just another thing to do in college, and I had a lot of fun with that.
So what was your college major?
Oh, I studied mechanical engineering.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, my thing in college, I didn't finish, and I should be able to now that I'm getting that fucking laptop, but it was English and film, which is the same thing Lucas and Spielberg had. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, I have a friend that that's in the Navy. I mentioned to you before the show. He was like maybe 6'3" maybe, and he wasn't fat, but he wasn't like fit. And then I saw a picture of him a few years ago. That was it was an older picture, but this dude was like. Boom! He was like a big box. He was just fucking absolutely massive. I'm like, who the fuck is that? That dude's enormous, absolutely amazing, like incredible. If he were still, if I don't hang out with him anymore, obviously, because he's miles and miles away. But I mean, I don't know what his training regimen was. I mean, do you find yourself exercising a lot, or do you just try to stay fit, do some jogging?
Definitely. Well, it's a requirement in the Navy to actually be fit in the first place.
It makes sense. Yeah, they don't want you.
Of course, I have my own exercise routine, and I watch what I eat too. So.
Yeah, you try to. You find yourself up late at night, though.
I got I got a smartwatch.
Hell yeah, good for you.
Keep track of my calories, and so. get my steps in.
Yeah, how many steps do you like to get a day?
I try to do 16K.
That's pretty good. How many miles is that?
So yeah, I try to like do a walk early in the morning, about 6 miles in the
Good for
morning, just
you.
to do a nice walk.
Yeah,
And then I try to bike for
Yeah.
a half hour.
That's awesome.
for
I
that
love
too,
bikes.
so.
I love riding my bike. I've got got a bike from, damn, it's over 20 years old. It's a beast though. If you take care of your bike, it'll last you a long ass time.
Oh yeah, I had this bike since I was 14. I'm 28 now, and it still runs good.
Yeah, exactly. That's about how long I've had mine. It's a Diamondback. It's a blue Diamondback. It's a real bitchin' ride, especially when the air is all the way up.
Mine's a hybrid giant. Yeah, it's a giant.
Is that a mix of street and dirt or what?
So it's a road bike / mountain bike.
How thick's the tire on that? Is it like somewhere between in the middle?
So
or
the
what?
tires are thicker, but I have road tires on it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't really dig those road tires. I always rode the mountain bikes because when I grew up, there was a lot of construction, so there was a lot of dirt and grass and open fields that you had to ride through and pump through. I never got stuck in the mud, but I did try to jump across a creek one time. I didn't quite make it.
Oh boy.
Well, so reason why I didn't make it because the mud was actually thicker and deeper than I thought. So the dirt, my foot landed and it sunk in about 1.5 feet. So I had to reach down in I had to pull my foot out and reach down in and pull out my shoe. Thankfully, it didn't fill with mud because the mud was pretty packed. Unlike where I live now, where it's mostly bedrock and clay. But yeah, I mean, so with all this, so how long in your early morning regimen do you have before you go into to work?
So I try to get up around 5:30. I know some people are like,
God,
cringing at that.
Jesus,
It's like, no, this is.
Jesus Christ! What time do you even go to bed?
Oh, midnight.
God,
Between 10 and midnight.
So is that like when you try to fall asleep, or is that when you lay down and turn off the TV and put away your phone and everything?
Well, that's when I take off my VR headset after I talk to people on VRChat.
See, I like to be off of VR at about, excluding some special circumstances and individuals. I like to be off at about 10, so I have time to maybe get a snack and watch some TV, stream something.
Yeah.
How secure is your position with the advancement of technology? I don't know if that sounds
what do I think?
Well, I don't know if that sounds
What
like a
do I think
hard
of it?
question because automation is like ramping up. I think that, and I'm going to this might sound crazy, but I think that within the next 10 years, a lot of shit that we're going to see is going to be like incredibly automated. In 10 years, you might, there might only be just a couple, like 2 people working at McDonald's because most of the cooking will be done automated. Eventually, our trucking will be automated. We all know this. We know it's coming.
I mean, you saw in what's that movie?
Logan.
Wolverine.
Yeah, Logan. It's a good.
There we
That was a fun one. So with your position, how much longer do you think it'll be before a crew that normally does what you and your team does? How much longer do you think that'll be before that starts getting smaller and
So
smaller?
we actually already have drones that do the same mission. However, the drone is limited on a few factors, so that's why we still have the planes that we have now.
Makes sense.
But yeah, no, advancement in technology in general. The funny thing is that a lot of podcasts are talking about right now. For example, I'm not sure you've heard the podcast "Distractable" by Markiplier.
Markiplier. Yeah, no, I've not heard of that podcast.
So it's a funny one, but they did a segment on future technology and
Right.
what people thought in the past of what they think the technology would be like today, and then what do we think is going to be like 100 years from now, and everything like that.
Star Trek seemed to be pretty on point.
Yeah, kinda. I mean, we have smartphones that like could put our faces on them, and we can see them like face to face. We can order things online and have them delivered to our house. We can do that with food and groceries. It's amazing how technology has advanced today.
Yeah, like in that movie, The Sixth Day. The Sixth Day predicted automatic driving, pretty much automatic everything. Same thing with Back to the Future too.
Almost. They're off by a year with the Mets.
With the what?
The Mets. They were supposed to win in 2015, but they won in 2016.
Which show are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about the Cubbies. Yeah, the Cubbies. Back to
the Future 2.
Yeah, no, it was the Cubs.
Oh, no,
the
Cubs. Yeah, it was the Cubs. Yep, my bad. Yeah, they predicted that the Cubs would win in 2015, but it turns out
I don't know about
2016,
prediction. I just think that they thought that they weren't going to win for a long. It's like, hey, let's just, hey guys, hey, what if the Mets won the Super Bowl and everybody in the room laughed? Super Bowl, what the fuck? World Series. God damn it.
I didn't want to correct you.
No, you should have corrected me. I hate that shit. Don't. See, that's one. I'm not mad at you, but that's one thing that a lot of people do. It's like they don't want to correct people to make them sound stupid. But if you don't correct somebody, they're gonna sound stupid forever. You know. It's like if somebody thinks that green apples were around during the time of Pirates of the Caribbean. So they make all their pirate stories where someone's obsessed with a green apple. Or do they go around telling people something that's not just like, patently not true? Like, the dangers of being in Yellowstone, right? I'm not going into like false news or anything, fake news or anything, but I'm saying that it's real important to, because in the late '90s and early 2000s, people did like it was extremely rude to correct somebody, and now instead of just correcting someone, saying, oh, actually it's this. You get this whole
as long as you don't do it obnoxiously, it's just like, oh, did you mean this or something like that?
Yeah. See, I'm not mad at you or nothing, but I don't even remember what we're talking about now. Look at this guy.
So we were talking about future technology. So So what I really think of it is that technology is advancing exponentially. It's definitely on the rise.
Exponentially.
And we're seeing things. Yeah.
I'm just I'm fucking with you.
And we're seeing things that we didn't really think about, and they're coming to life.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that fascinating. And one thing is, I love technology. I mean, it definitely makes lives easier. I mean,
it saves lives. It saved my brother's life.
Yeah. Exactly. And some of the most simplest things in life are heavily relied on technology.
Like ice.
And
making ice.
Cool. Exactly.
Like the refrigerator. The refrigerator is, or refrigeration technology is one of the greatest achievements in humanity, to be able to store or increase the longevity of their food.
Now, what fascinates me is not the technology that is invented; it's how that technology became to be.
Oh yeah, like what do you mean?
And I'll give you.
Here we go.
A good example. There's a documentary called "How Beer Saved the World," and because of the influence of beer helped invent the refrigerator because people wanted cold beer.
That's a good point, because whenever they bring me a bottle, I'm like, shit, can I get this in a chill glass, son? And then like, yes.
And it's amazing how beer has influenced so many things.
Yeah.
For another example, it would be like beer actually helped save people during the Black Plague.
Yeah. What's the logic behind that?
So in order to make proper beer, especially like in Germany or in England or something like that, they actually had to boil the water down um, to distill it and everything like that.
Yeah.
And because they were boiling the water, they were killing all the bacteria and viruses in it and stuff. So their beer was actually sterilized.
Oh shit. I hear
And
that the
people
Black
had
Plague was
fluids.
caused
Yeah.
by they killed off the cats. There was some kind of order to kill cats, and so there were less cats around. There was nothing to control the mice, and so the mice spread the fleas and shit. And that's how everybody got sick, because they killed all the cats. Yeah. So whenever people in your neighborhood start complaining about the cats, just bring it the Black Plague. Bring it the Black Plague. You get these people. So like you get these people who have like their air vents in their houses get filled with birds and bird shit and stuff. So you and your kids are breathing bird shit. So the good thing about having domesticated cats or domesticated cats or cats with families roaming around the neighborhood is that they clean up all of the pests and they keep it safe.
Yeah.
Sorry about that wild tangent, but that's something important to know. Is about the cats.
You bring up a good point. But I think people like this fact, my fellow Americans. Beer helped influence the American Revolution.
You said bearded?
Yes. So all the meetings that our founding fathers had was all in a tavern.
Yeah, South Park made a joke about that. I'm pretty sure.
It was all in a tavern, and they were just all drinking and talking about philosophy and the idea about, hey, we don't need this guy anymore. Why don't we start our own country? And that's how it started. It's a weird way to go about it, but beer started in America.
That's funny because I spoke. That you bring that up. I spoke to a man from the UK, and they said that excuse me, wow, they said that they mentioned the Civil War, and I'm like Civil War. I was playing Grand Theft Auto, so we're driving along. I'm sitting there. I'm like, Civil War. What the fuck are you talking about? Talk about Civil War. He's like, oi, pleb, what are you mean talking about Civil War? And then I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, the Civil War between with America, and I'm like, oh, no, in America we just call that the Revolutionary War. And it's really interesting to look at how other countries define their interactions with others.
You're saying that they're not, though, right?
What's that?
They're not the same war.
No. What they said, they referred to the Revolutionary War as America's first Civil War. That's what they were saying. Yeah. Which I guess is technically true.
I could see that because it was owned by England.
Yeah,
and they owned it, and then there was a rebellion against within itself. So technically, I guess it was kind of a civil war.
Well, see, part of the problem with time is that as time moves on, you have definitions or how we use words change. And that doesn't really change what the word means. Definition is how we use the word. It's not necessarily what the word means. I mean, you can feel free to correct me on that, and I'm always open to conversation and talking about that stuff. But how we define something in the past, whether it be right or wrong, there are a lot of horrible things in the past. I don't have to explain myself. We all know. We all feel the same. But so we might see how somebody did something in the past as innocuous or innocuous, as simple as ownership of a certain particular piece of property, like houses and Hollywood land, all the way to some shitty little plot of land that you have in the Midwest, to business ownership and that sort of thing, to how you partake in politics, how certain things are defined, like the way we define the 80s now is not how the 80s would have defined themselves. So it really makes all that shit confusing. You know,
Oh yeah.
and like people now might consider the founding fathers a bunch of drunks, which is not true. But it definitely makes sense that they put these places in taverns, because tavern is a place where you're kind of supposed to chill. You're supposed to relax. You just got through working a 12-hour day on a day that was supposed to be a half day, and because your vacation starts tomorrow, and you're working a 12-hour shift into your vacation. And so these guys were pulling away from one of the biggest organizations in the world. But beer, I mean,
They had global domination and all fell apart. So.
which it wasn't uncommon. I mean, just about every nation wanted to be the nation, like the representation.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you got Caesar, you got Genghis Khan, you got all kinds of people.
Alexander the Great. Yeah, even these days we got the various warlords, across in the southern hemisphere, and it's all pretty sketch. It's it's kind of shocking whenever you see this stuff. Like, I don't know if you saw that plane take off in Afghanistan. That was.
I didn't see it take off, but I did see the people like running along with it.
So I don't know what Twitch thinks about any of this, but there's people running alongside it. Some people are like, woo, woo, but then there's people like hanging on to the side. And then when you watch it take off, again, I don't know how Twitch would like this shit, but you see a couple of dots go down whenever the plane's taken off. And it turns out one of those dots may have been, from what I hear, a 19-year-old kid who's obsessed with soccer. And it's scary. I mean, but it's not the same kind of scary as it was on September 11th.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to get back to that. We were talking about beer, and which is a great subject, by the way.
No, it's fine.
I'll talk about beer all day long. But I mean, is this something that? I mean, obviously, you maybe think about this every single day. I mean, what is this? I mean, seeing all this stuff. I mean, you probably seen people like perish and stuff like that. And I know that my perspective on life changed when I saw somebody realize that they had maybe 30, 40 seconds to live, and that their significant other is dead. When you see this shit, it changes you. I mean, what do you have? What's your thoughts on that?
So, I have never personally seen anyone die, nor have I ever pushed the button on a weapon or pulled the trigger ever on someone. But it was definitely a thought in my mind, especially during my trainings when I had to, push the button to kill a sub or destroy a ship or something like that. And it's just definitely something to think about, especially when, a person that's high ranking in the military giving me the order to kill what's in front of me. Mm-hmm. And there are some moments in those trainings, especially like with my crew and everything, it's like, all right, let's go kill it, let's go, and everything. And it just kind of popped in my head like, if this was real, I'm killing those people and everything. And I had the power to do it. And that kind of woke me up a little bit.
Yeah. Realizing
what capabilities I have and how much power is under my fingertips. So, no, I have never killed, nor I've seen anyone die. I've had family members die just because, old age or disease or something like that, but I never saw it in front of me. I've never seen a corpse or anything like that, except, online when you end up in the wrong side of the internet or something like that. But, no, I haven't seen anyone like that.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think there's I think the wrong side of the internet would probably be the illegal side. Damn dog. God, I love that dog, but he drives me crazy. No, I mean, it doesn't compare to seeing it in person, I imagine, obviously. or
No, I can't imagine that either.
and or if you have to defend yourself and you come to the conclusion. I imagine you come to the conclusion pretty fast that your kid's life is like totally different from the person who enters your house. From the person who enters a space and becomes threatening like that, it's like, well, I mean, what do you do? I mean, I'm not saying you should. I know New Jersey has that what is it called? Right to flee.
Stand your ground?
No. New Jersey doesn't have stand your ground. From my understanding, New Jersey has right to flee, which means that the first thing you should do, if you can, flee. The second thing you should do if someone enters your house, flee. The third thing you should try to do is flee. The fourth thing you should do is make sure that your family can flee. And the fifth thing is make sure your family can flee. The last thing, according to New Jersey, now I'm not a lawyer or anything, but according to New Jersey, the last thing on your mind when somebody enters your house is harming them. However, I know this is like a super political episode, but I'm talking to someone who's in the Navy, so I don't know what you want. This is probably preaching to the choir with you, but if somebody enters your house and your daughter's sleeping in the next room over, I mean, like, they're going to have to get through you to get to that room, right?
Oh, yeah,
so somebody enters your house, what's going through your mind? You think, now, again, I'm not advocating for anything. You probably should speak to a lawyer or, do some studying, but if someone comes in my house and my significant other or my wife or whatever, I don't have a wife, but if I had a daughter or a son or anybody in the house, I mean, what is that person thinking? Whenever you have an enemy combatant, you don't know what they're thinking. I've heard horror stories about people that said there have been areas that we go to where we had to fire at literally everything that moves, because you don't know there's a bomb attached to that dog the horror stories are true. You know all about this. That kid might be covered in from head to toe in plastic explosives. I mean, it's an absolute one of the most one of those horrifying stories and shit that I have read. There's things that I have seen. I can't imagine being there in first person. I can't imagine being within like 5 or 6 miles of it. I mean, how do your friends and buddies that have dealt with this? I mean, how do they handle? What do they feel?
So I don't think I have any friends that were in combat. I have a few Marine friends, Air Force friends, and everything like that. I mean, the best way to handle it, in my opinion, is you gotta talk to someone.
Mm-hmm.
You have to let someone know how you feel about that and what happened. Because if you bottle that stuff inside you, it's gonna consume you.
Yeah, you see a lot of these guys that flame out. I mean, and it's sad, it's hard, it's scary, And a lot of people don't know this, but it also affects the family members. I have a couple of extended family members that have people who serve or who have served, and it affects them too. They get depressed, they get scared, they have kind of like their own little PTSD thing going on. And I'm not saying PTSD is bullshit. It's not. But it affects the families too, and a lot of people don't really understand that. Like, oh yeah, you got the government taking care of me. I'm like, no, these people got their son who's thousands and thousands of miles away, who might be dead tomorrow. I mean, I don't know how your family handles you being in the military, but I know that mine would be fucking worried sick.
I mean, my family supports me 100%. I mean, they helped me to get into the Navy in the first place, and they're proud of me at what I do, and I'm happy for that. And that's why I give them phone calls every so often. I mean, at least they deserve that. Having them hear my voice to tell them that I'm okay. And it's not just about me either, but I should be able to listen to them too.
How exactly? Well, I've asked about your family. How do you feel about serving? I mean, how do you feel that has an effect on your life and your psyche and all that stuff?
I feel happy that I'm making a difference. And I'm proud of the fact that I work with the greatest people I've ever met.
Yeah.
And if I were given the option to do this all over again, oh yes, I would.
I hear that a lot. What would you say to somebody who was thinking about, enlisting or, joining the service?
Um, I I highly encourage it. I mean, you have to have mental strength. It's not just physical, it's a lot of mental strength. You have to put a lot of willpower to actually work here. And if you're willing to put in the effort and actually try, then I have no doubt you can make it. It's those people who don't care or, just don't want to be there, they won't make it in the military. It's to those who are motivated enough to actually do something about it.
And what would you say to somebody who is really is really striving to be the best that they can be, that's already enlisted?
To those who are in the military already.
If you could send a message to them, what would you say to them?
It's an honor to serve with them, even if I don't know them, if they don't know me. But they are doing something that not everyone signs up for, and it's good that they're there. I know there's some aspect that, that suck, and that's what we all say, embrace the suck. Because, shit happens.
Embrace the suck.
And, like, telling them if they're having a hard time in the military, then, like I said, talk to someone. Because just having that someone to talk to makes a huge difference.
So if you had a message for the future, what message would you send to the future?
Future me or future people?
The future of America. Let's say 20 years from now.
Oh, future America? Oh. We gotta stop letting the little things bother us. If it doesn't drastically affect your life, then why are you putting so much effort to show your emotions about it? There's no reason to be upset over the littlest things.
All right. Well, I gotta say I had a lot of fun. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me here.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, it's been awesome, and yeah, thanks for coming out. Thanks everybody for watching. I really appreciate it. And whoever watched live and those who are watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, as you'll see in the end cap, and follow and tell all your friends. You don't have to subscribe on Facebook, but at least you can just click that little follow, or not Facebook, Twitch. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't turn off the video yet. Make sure to smash the living shit out of that subscribe button, and definitely share it with your friends. That's how we get to know it. If you want to see more shit like this, and maybe even with more well-known, or like some actual content creators, like we have with Twisty 10,000, make sure that you follow. And with that, again, thanks for coming. I really, really appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me here. This was fun. I liked it.